Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so we're here on a Sunday night with another live PC build. So we're going to be building Andre's 3060 Ti rig here. So Andre's just like, he came to me with a build from, I think it was from Scorptech or someone, and it was like for a 3060 system, and it was like $2,800. And I was like, look at it, I'm going, man, why don't we change some of these parts around? Because I'd much rather have a 3060 Ti than a 3060, because, well,
especially this gaming X one.
yeah, well, I mean, the 3060 is kind of just a refresh of the Turing 106 GPU. That's like the 2060 and the 2060 Super.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a refresh of that.
Yeah.
It's not too fundamentally different from that.
No, I have noticed.
And
that
that's why the
you do.
performance is only just
Yeah.
a little incrementally better. And then the 3060 Ti is a much better performance. It's an actual step up.
Different.
Yeah. And this is a good one, this gaming X card. Quite like it. So, yeah, let's go through the components here tonight. So we've got an i7 10700KF here. We have the MSI B560 Pro VDH Wi-Fi. So this is just the update of the B460 Pro VDH Wi-Fi. It's got a more powerful chipset there. It has PCIe Gen 4 as well. And we've got obviously our RTX 3060 Ti, the MSI Gaming X version. We'll put this down to the side for now. Hey Andre, how you going? We got 16 gigabytes of Spectrix D41 3200 MHz CL16 memory. We have a Kingston NV1 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. We've got some extra fans for our case, plus an extra Silverstone one here for the back. We've got a 650 watt Cooler Master 80 plus bronze power supply, and it puts out the full 650 watts on the 12 volt rail, and it comes with the 5-year warranty. We've also got a Silverstone PF240 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler to keep our 10700KF nice and cool. Alright, so there's the components here tonight. Hey Dom, send me a message, man. I'll let you know. It was high 2s, I believe. So let's have a look at this motherboard. So it's going to be very similar to the Pro VDH in the B460 chipset. Okay, so here we have it. It's not sort of focusing very well on the board there, is it?
Still not in.
Did you-
I haven't.
There we go. Sorry about that. Sometimes the autofocus, stalls or something, just doesn't work correctly with the camera. But when I reset it, it will refocus every time. So, starting at the top here, we've got a 8-pin CPU power connection. We have some very, very limited heat sinks for our MOSFET VRM coprocessors. It's not going to be a problem because we're not going to be overclocking anything on this board. We have our LGA 1200 socket here. We've got, it's like a little chassis intrusion header, I think that one is JC1 or J1.
What do they do?
So it'll, it's like a header that you put and it's connected to like the side panel. And if someone opens it up, it'll trigger a event that someone's been in your computer, and then the next time you turn it on, you'll know someone's been into your computer.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just not like people don't really use it on home computers for obvious reasons, but it is there.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got dual channel memory here, so 4 slots, 2 channels. We've got 2 fan headers here, a CPU fan, a pump fan, and then we've got 4 little LED lights here. Can you make out
Move back a
the
little.
words?
Move back just a little bit.
Probably not.
It's
Can't
too
really,
small.
it's too small. But it says VGA, boot, RAM, and CPU, and so it'll tell you if your computer's not turning on, what the problem might be. And we've got our 24-pin ATX power, main power for everything else on our motherboard.
Yes, you hear the po-po.
We've got another fan header down here, some voltage selection pins there. We've got 4 SATA ports in the horizontal position.
Matthew Masters, hey.
Hey Matthew, hey
Say
Mark,
hey.
how you going? We've got 2 vertically orientated SATA ports. We have trusted platform module header, 5-volt RGB. We've got our diagnostic speaker header, got our front panel connections there. We've got our USB 3 front panel connection. We've got 2 USB 2s there. We've got a COM port header, some COM port debug pins, a 12-volt RGB header, and our front panel audio header for the speaker and microphone jack on our case. And so these little gold capacitors down here, these are our audio capacitors. Everything down here on this part of the board is related to audio. And then around here at the back, we'll see the audio is right there, as close as possible to the other stuff on the board. We've got our Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1 module. We've got Ethernet, 4 USB 3 or above ports. We've got a display port, HDMI port, and VGA port. None of them will be in use for this build. We've got 2 USB 2s, and we've got a PS2 port there as well for our old school keyboard and mouse. And then finally, just this stuff in the center here, we have our 2 M2 slots, a PCIe X16 slot, we've got a sneaky fan header around there as well, and we've got 2 PCIe X1 slots. And under here is where our B560 lives. And that is all of the main features on this motherboard. Alrighty, so let's get started prepping this board. So we'll start with our CPU, our 10700 KF. So you don't get a CPU cooler with these, so you do have to add your own. So these are really quite simple to install, but you've got to be very careful. There are 2 little grooves in either side. You can see the little notches in the socket. And you just want to line them up and just kind of let it drop in from about a millimeter above the socket. It should just drop in place. Just touch the corners lightly. Make sure it's in the socket. Put the lid down, and the lid will pop off, and just save that for in case you need to send your motherboard back for a warranty claim. See, I can just chuck them out because I've got heaps of them. So it's not going to be a case where everyone sends back their motherboard for warranty. So I've always got heaps of them. I don't need any more.
It says good old 3060 Ti's brings back memories.
3060 Ti, it's a good system. It's a good graphics card.
It's Piri says happy Sunday too.
Hey, Tapiri, how you going? Oh, what am I doing? Going to use the wrong 2 slots first. It's an MSI motherboard. That means it will actually whinge at me when I turn on the computer if I don't have the right 2 slots populated. Alrighty. And then we might just utilise the bottom slot there, so the top slot can be easily accessed once our graphics card's in place.
So,
We don't have a Gen 4 drive or anything like that. Yeah.
Nick says I only say that because it's my current card.
I was like, when did you get a new card? That was my thoughts.
Tim,
Yeah.
Polito on YouTube wants to know how do I order a PC and what would be the minimum price for a high-end PC?
Oh, well, all my PCs are custom built to order, so the best way is just to send me a message on Facebook, let me know what you're after, and then we can kind of go from there. But Facebook's probably the best place for that, just because we can sort of interact in like live chat. So it's sort of better than like an email, because email can be very sort of slow back and forward.
Almost.
Yeah, it is like, and I've worked for soulless corporations for 20 years. So when I get on the email, I'm very business orientated. The way I word things and stuff, I can't get out of that. I can't turn it off. So yeah, you'll get a much more candid, fluid conversation from me via Facebook. Alrighty, so we've got our board pretty much prepped there. We just need to worry about our cooler.
So,
Yeah.
says no new components yet, I'll let you know.
Yeah, the last thing you got was a white power supply when when that original one died, which should have had a warranty on it, but apparently no warranty where you got it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have an issue now because he's got one of those Corsair ones that's got a 5-year warranty. So
Yeah. They're pretty decent.
now he doesn't have to worry. He can use that power supply probably in his next rig.
Yeah. Nick says unfortunately, but we don't speak about any of that. Yeah, the unspoken.
Yes. Alrighty, so these fans that we get on the cooler are going to match the fan that we have on the back, so we're not going to have like mixed matched fans. We're going to have 3 MSI ones, but they're going to go on the front of the case there, so they're going to be like sort of separate to these ones here. You're not going to see them as much. So at least when you look at the fans inside the case, they're all going to be facing the same way, and they're all going to be the same fans.
Do you want me to put the front ones on?
Yeah, you can start on the front ones.
How do you take the front off,
It should just pull off.
sorry? Work from the bottom.
Yeah, you should be able to feel directly in the middle
There's
at the
like a
bottom.
room.
There's like a room for your hand to pull it off. That whole panel will just pull off.
Yeah, I can't.
It just pops off. That one doesn't have any cables in it like
No,
the.
I was just inspecting. Not a screwdriver.
You can.
Little red one.
Oh,
Actually,
no.
not a big long one.
Big long one is your friend for that.
Yes. Really?
Okay, so I've got a cooler to sort out while Christine sorts out the case. So we already have the Intel bracket on the pump. So we just have to take the protective seal off that. We don't have to worry about this. This is an AMD plate. We can just cut that out. We will be requiring some stuff from here. We probably won't be requiring this RGB controller. Yeah.
Says I'm still trying to save up money. Every time I have enough money, it needs to be bought or I end up short.
Yep, that's
welcome to being an adult.
yeah, that's life, man. Yeah, welcome to adult life. And especially you, like you're like just starting out, so you're younger and stuff. It's even harder. Like old people who say it's easy, I don't think they remember, or when they were young, things were easier.
Well, I don't know. Your papa did it really tough for a while.
Oh, but he grew up in the Great Depression, though.
Yeah, I guess.
I think everyone did it tough in the Great Depression. Everyone got fucked. Okay, so for this back plate here, we need to use the middle position, and we get these little plastic washers, and if they fit nice and tight, it works really well.
Tim,
Yeah.
he said so a budget of say 4K would get me a decent build.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Indeed.
I mean, you know, potentially if we just wanted to get like the most performance for your dollar, we could probably squeeze a 3080 in for something like that, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
In that big giant box, you put one little cable on. That could have just gone in the box in the top of those.
It fit very nicely in that packet that they had, though.
Yeah. They could have not used the packet and saved more money.
Yeah, I would have liked that.
Which ones do I use? The long ones?
The short ones.
Okay, so
Inside of the case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey buddy, look, your favourite
So-
thing, twist tie.
Put our back plate on there. So that just slides in like that. We'll put our board down on the box there. Hold it all in place. Now we get these little plastic stoppers, and these have got to go down. There we go. Alright, so we've got some just standard generic thermal paste here, but we'll put down a bit of Arctic silver here. This stuff's a bit thick. But it's good stuff. As the name says, it's got silver compounds in it.
It's the right sort of sticky.
Yeah, you put it down, and then you don't have to worry about it, basically. So this radiator is going to be top mounted. essentially fit on the board like that.
What the fuck is all this? Oh, it's glue. It's gone all stringy from a glue gun or something.
Yeah, that happens. Alright, so just going to wrap that cable around the frame there so it stays concealed. Because these will run up the back there.
Okay.
So just get two opposite corners tightened down. Just with your thumbs there. Once they're in place, it's much easier to do the others. So you'll feel the amount of resistance change pretty significantly with these bolts. Once you feel that point, you're right to stop turning. There. And then if you do your thermal paste application right, all actually they're all at that same point. You don't have to get your torque wrench out, but just try to do it evenly.
No wonder why you bitch about it getting hot. Can you turn the air conditioner?
Yes.
Dunker.
Alrighty.
You right?
Yeah.
Do you want all the fan cables to go up through like here? Or
No, they're just the closest.
okay.
It's easy. It's better concealed.
This one's always
Matthew said he had a top-mounted water cooler, Corsair one, only lasted a little over a year before it died. Yeah, and you get that, man. That's not. I wouldn't blame Corsair for it or anything like that.
Why is the first one always hard to get? Sorry. You were answering a question.
Yeah, what were we saying? Yeah, the Corsair cooler. Yeah, so I wouldn't blame Corsair for the death of that. Sometimes you're going to get units that fail within warranty. So the standard warranty for an all-in-one liquid cooler is 3 years. Some of the cheaper ones do only warranty it for 2 years, but I don't think I've seen any less than that. Because they're pretty much all made by Cooler Master and Acertech, so everyone's just putting their brands on them, essentially. Every brand's got an AIO cooler these days. It used to just be like a couple of them.
No! Oh, I'm getting really cranky because it's hot.
It's alright, do you want to try some different bolts?
No. These are fine. It's because my hair's out and it's thick. It's making me nick. Now they're too goddamn. After all that.
I can't say these are the easiest bolts to tighten down. Yeah, the drill was definitely getting blunt. Put it that way. Jesus.
Oh no. Oh yeah, no. Oh no, there it is. Haha. Yeah, this is. Yeah, this That
is like.
last bolt's not going in. Oh, hang on. No, that's on an angle. That's why. Oh no.
Yeah, this is like the last one that they made before they changed the frickin' drill piece. So all these holes on this are like too small for the screw. So I'm like screwing directly in to the aluminium. So that's fun. Anyway. This will be how our cooler's set up there. All these cables are coming out to the back, which is what we want. Okay, well, while Christine finishes up with those ones on the front, I'm going to swap this.
Just screwing in the last bolt.
I'm going to swap this back fan over.
There you go.
What's up?
Makes sense. Christine seems hangry.
No, she's just frustrated.
Matthew says I've been running a big ass cooler master fan for my CPU worked out better than the cooler for some reason. If my old faithful PC dies, we'll give you guys a call.
Yeah, definitely, man. Alrighty, so we get this last Silverstone fan in. Yeah.
Ludo on YouTube says thank you. Would the finishing price be the same amount as what the specs combined?
Sorry, what's that? He said thank you. Would
the
the
finishing price be the same amount as all the specs combined?
wow. I think you should probably send me a message on Facebook for that. So I'm not entirely sure what you mean. So if I give you a quote, it'll be very clear what it includes and what it doesn't include. So normally when I quote someone, it includes GST, Windows 10 Pro activated, and the build, installation, stress test, and you get to watch it live. So that's the normal thing. If you get a quote from me, you'll probably see me use that exact phrasing there. So that's what I quote you in. So there's no like hidden taxes or anything like that. Just remember to ask if you need it shipped, so I'll have to add the shipping for your location onto the order. No worries, Boris. It's all good, man. And yeah, no, the blue screen errors there with Windows startup, that can happen sometimes for too many reasons just to mention basically. Oh, I haven't got the power supply in yet. We might do that.
That might be handy.
Yeah.
Might need that.
Yeah, might go better with a power supply.
Yeah, because when I press the button, I kind of want it to do stuff.
Yeah, it's always preferable. Hey, how you going? Good to have you with us. Alrighty, so this is one of these Cooler Master semi-modulars with the 5-year warranty. So semi-modular means that this main cable here, so they give you looks like a CPU and a 24 pin for the motherboard. So they give you those two cables that are actually attached, and then it leaves all the other ones to be plugged in as required. Alright, so what do we need? We're going to need PCIe. Let's plug that in over here. I think we have 2 cables, and I don't think we're technically going to exceed the capacity of a single cable here, but we'll plug both of them in anyway because we have 2 connectors on the graphics card, but it looks a bit neater.
Just looking, is there any strips going in?
No, there's no strips. So yeah, we can add some RGB strips. They're $20 each. So just let me know. We'll get some SATA power. I think we'll have at least one SATA device to power, and I think we're going to plug in a Molex cable too, which means I only have one cable not being plugged in here, so I may as well just plug it in and just tie it back. So there we go, we've plugged in all of the cables that came with this modular power supply. Just need to undo this one here. There we go. Nice and cabley. What we like to see. And we've got a spare deep cool branded fan. We won't be needing that.
It's not even a spot to like even trim down the bottom. It's a bit of a shame.
What do you mean?
Oh, that black fan, there's no room to like put it on the bottom there. It's like
Oh, no.
extra sauce.
No, you'd have to cut holes.
Yeah. That's just cool. Oh, look.
Yes, we're not going to be doing any hard
No.
modding.
No.
Hard modding is something that, I mean, I don't usually do it for a customer unless absolutely necessary. It's something
Well,
that
they
you do to your
ask
own
for it.
computer.
Yeah, that's it.
If you're into doing your own mods and adding your own features to PCs and cases and stuff like that, what you want is a nice big case that'll let you do whatever you want. Think of a big blank slate. That's what you want if you're into hard mods. There'll be some ITX stand going, man, we do heaps of hard modding in the ITX scene.
Tim,
It's like, yeah, I know.
I really don't want this. I just sent the specs on Facebook.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Sweet. Two.
Yes, I will. Okay. Alrighty, so what are we going to need? I'm just going to bunch up all these cables that we're not going to be using immediately. Let's see how many zip ties I can get away with for this. We aim for as few zip ties as we can because it makes it easier if anything goes wrong and we have to rip anything out in the future. Alright, so we've got a mass of Molex and SATA cables in there for later use. We've got our PCIe power cables here for our graphics card. And kind of together there. Leave them there for now. And then we've got these two here. And there's a zip tie already in place there. I won't do it too tight because I don't know how much of these cables I actually want. So we've got a USB 3 and a USB 2 and a HD audio all along the bottom. We've also got our front panel connections. Sweet as. Everything's looking in order there. So all I need to do is I need the and I will need that.
Did you cut yourself?
No, nearly.
I was about to say, every time I see you put those things in, I see you cut yourself like you did that one time. Just sliced your finger.
Yeah. Okay. Lie this one down. So we have 1, 2 offsets to install. And number 2. And we're going to be utilising slots 1 and 2, and I've got one of these ones that we just bend out, and it would have been a pain to bend that out without damaging that capacitor. We can leave the other one till later anyway. Can't reach with a screwdriver. Yeah.
Because of this, it's low-key.
True. Alright. So now that we've got the motherboard roughly in place, I'm just going to put one screw in. Because we are going to route a fair few of these cables behind the board. Alright, so I just plugged our pump into a Molex header there. So our pump is going to be running at 12 volt DC the whole time. There's not going to be any ramping up or down of the pump speed. And so now we might get this annoying CPU power cable in place. Okay, so we've got two fan headers up the top here. So I'm pretty sure we got some splitters and stuff. Yeah.
Check out this color.
Oh, nice. Now I should have another one of those. No, but I've got something similar. So we're only going to be utilising 3 fan headers to power all 6 of our fans. There we go, so we've got everything hooked in up the top. So I can go ahead and screw these screws in. There we go. So we might get the cooler in place. Can you give me a hand with this? Oh, it's the same issue with these screws and this radiator. They're all going to be shit. It doesn't even want to screw in the hole. Um,
It's just pushing it away. It's in there.
it's not designed for these bolts.
But it's in there.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be fine, but that's why it's not. Yeah, this was the one that came off right before they decided to change the drill bit. If you know what I mean. There'll just be like one point on the assembly line, this part of the machine just drills holes, and it just does like thousands of them. It's so bad that I'm screwing in a smaller grade screw, and it's fitting pretty nicely. Like, that shouldn't tighten down. The hole's meant to be too big.
It's a
Yeah.
mixer's timbers.
Hey Mick, how you going, man?
How are ya?
Stay away from that tripod, cat.
Speaking of tripod, I might get a better tripod.
Please.
I was going to get one the other day and you're like, we've got a tripod.
But well, this one's alright. It's just
It's,
I don't know.
nah, it's shit. You got a better one.
Then I can use this one for photos.
Mm-hmm. Can I get like one of the correct bolts in?
Maybe.
Yes, get it.
Did you know that there's some global citizen like concert thing going on right now on
No.
YouTube? There's like all these big like music stars doing a
I
live
did
thing.
hear though something like that was going to happen. I didn't.
I got it going like another tab right now.
Keith Urban.
That name.
Keith.
Sorry to anyone who's watching whose name is Keith. Just, I don't know.
My wife doesn't like the name. She's like Peter Griffin. Okay, so we may as well leave that off for when we put our graphics card in. So we've got everything all screwed down at the top. We've just got a few cables that we've got to run behind the board here, and some fans to plug in. Oh, come on. Okay. as Untangled here. Yep, sure is. Any build with RGB always ends up pretty messy. Yep. And slide out USB Type 2. You in the right place, and then finally our front panel connections. Who remembers cartoon connections? Remember that?
Hmm?
Remember cartoon connections when you were a kid? It's like aggro.
Only just. My brother got to be on TV with Aggro.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
We used to have it on video. VCR. I don't know what happened. I think maybe Dad might have it. That was just before the show ended.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we've got our front panel connections here. Hook up our reset switch. And we'll hook up our HD LEDs. And we'll hook up our power switch. And we'll hook up our power LEDs. And it's positive on the left and negative on the right. Okay, and we'll have one more that we need to plug in down the bottom. No, I don't think I'll use an extension cable. I think we'll be right. Yeah.
Mixing Aggro was a dirty bastard.
Yep.
I'm glad I don't know that any of this. I found the character kind of creepy because I don't like puppets, but
Yeah,
then
Aggro.
again I liked Mr. Squid.
Aggro
but
said-
Then again, he was, I don't know, I was too young for that.
Yeah, I think you were. Yeah, you would have been too young for aggro. Aggro used to say things that, like, even as a kid, I knew there was something more to it, but I didn't know what. He said a lot of stuff like that. So someone like Nick's age, he would have like watched it and got all the jokes.
Nick says check out YouTube for R-rated stuff. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
That's meant to be a kid show.
Yeah.
Well, that I thought was meant to be a kid show.
Yeah, but they have jokes for the parents.
Yeah, I guess, but you know.
It's like your favourite Family Guy cutaway. The kids don't know, but we know.
Yeah, I guess. Nick says, yeah, takeouts. Might have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
Wow. I wonder if. Do they have like all the episodes?
I'm sure they would. Yeah. All like double entendre shit.
Yeah.
Like I'd watch it as a kid and I'd know that there was more going on there, but I didn't get it. I didn't fully get it. I'd be like, I think I get it, but I'm not sure.
You like laugh because it kind of sounds funny, but you don't understand it.
Oh no! Like
No?
I can't give you an example, but there were things where like
Entendre.
yeah.
Oh my god. I haven't seen that word written.
There you go. It's a shitty zip tie. Barely ties down anything. Okay. So our CPU power cable just sort of sits back there and just stay like that. Yep, that's the RGB cable. So this is the start of our daisy chain. Our pump's plugged in, and all we've got is these fan connections here. We've got 6 of them here to plug in. Our graphics card, motherboard, and our USB 3. So I think first I'll deal with the RGB. Might use a bit of tape on these. Sometimes the connections just aren't very good, and to avoid you having to open up the back of it and work out where the connections come apart, just put a bit of tape around it, and that will hopefully stop it from coming apart. Can't guarantee anything 100%, but it's a fan. and RGB. That felt a bit better. That still comes apart really easily. Yeah.
Mix's Fat Cat reference was like that too.
I don't remember that.
What's that?
I don't think I remember it either.
Fat cat with friends.
I might know it if I see it though. It's probably one of those things. There's always a fair few RGB cables to tie down. It usually creates a fair bit of cable mess out the back here. Fortunately, modern case designs give you all this room out the back to manage your cables properly. Okay, so we've got a few devices plugged into our daisy chain here now. So these are fans. So we need to plug in these ones from over here. Now these fans are not daisy chainable. Babe? Are these fans not daisy chainable?
Sorry, I was watching YouTube.
No, these aren't daisy chainable. That's okay.
I should put my sound. I can't. I'm in South Africa at the moment.
Ah, okay.
I'm just like in somebody's front yard. That's cool. No, I'm trying to tell me something.
It's hungry.
Okay, so since we don't have daisy chainable plugs here, we're going to need to utilize some splitters. So I should have some splitters around here. There you go. So to turn 1 into 3 here, I'm plugging 1 to 2 splitters into each other. So that's okay to do. It's not like loading up a power board.
To go up there.
We're using 5-volt DC power here, so 5 volts and very, very small amount of wattage. So definitely not a problem. Alrighty, and so now we've got 3 4-1 pin headers over here, which we can plug in to our fans. Well, they feel a bit tighter. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that felt a lot better. Okay, so we need to tie up these RGB cables. Probably tie them up at the top here. So,
Cheshire cat. Tim. Let's talk about.
ah, yes. Yeah. What's my personal rig specs? So I am currently running, I've still got a 9th gen Intel i9 9900K with Asus ROG Strix RTX 3080. Alrighty, so it's getting a little bit messy up here, but not too bad. We've got all our RGB tied down. So now all that we've got left, we've just got these fans to plug in. So we've got 6 fan connectors down here, and we need to plug in 5 more fans, I think. Yeah.
The show was cancelled in 1990. Any wonder you don't know it. That was the year I was born.
Yeah, she's born in 1990. I'm still a child of the 80s. Okay, so got all of these fan cables sorted. Sweet as. It's all coming along. So we do need to plug in this USB 3 cable. There's not really a great deal we can do with this. Can't really run it behind the motherboard, it's a bit too thick for that. So unfortunately it's just going to have to go straight up from the bottom. One cable that you have to see. Oh well. And then our motherboard power. That's going to run down there. Our motherboard power is going to go in up here. good. And that cable will just get tied up just there. So I think we've only used 5, and this is going to be quite nicely tied down and still easily organised. Okay, so we've got everything else plugged in except for our graphics card.
I'm very good watching this.
Okay. Not covered in plastic, that's what I like to see. There will be some plastic over these things. They always have to put plastic over the fans. Seriously, are scratches on these middle bits of the fans really this big a problem? Is it really something that people complain about? Oh, there's a micro scratch on the branding on the fans. You've seen this one. Do you want to hold it?
No, it's alright.
Put these HDMI and DisplayPort plugs in the motherboard because we won't be using those display outputs. And okay, so I'm going to try to conceal that USB 3 cable with our graphics card cables. What's wrong? Alrighty, we're nearly there. We'll just tie down these PCIe cables. Alright, just one last tie around these cables. Alrighty, where's our back panel? Right here. So that should go on relatively easy. Oh, what's in the way up the top? So I think I've done alright at concealing that USB 3 cable at the bottom. All in all, that looks pretty neat and tidy. So I reckon it's time to get Windows on it. Get her firing. So we've got our Windows USB. got our keyboard and mouse. We have our display cable, and we have our power cable plugged in. So, moment of truth time. Let me just get back so I can share the screen. Alright. It's looking alive. Yeah, it looks like we're posting. Oh, and I turned it off. Alright, so that's posted, and we have the Windows setup screen displaying. Babe, I need my phone. I'm going to enter this product key quickly so I don't forget. Babe?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Sorry, you didn't say anything, so I was like just sitting there going, is she coming? What's the deal? Okay, I'm just going to enter this key quickly. Oh, I have made a mistake. Okay. Try that again. Okay, so apparently I'd already used the last key. This is our 1 terabyte SSD. What's up?
I'm trying to
Yeah, no, came up alright. It doesn't have the usual power cable in, so you can't move it forward like you normally do. It doesn't have the normal power cable.
Yeah, I know. It's just gonna move it. Just.
This cable's bad. There we go. Alrighty. Thank fuck we are not in the United States. What are you talking about? Internet? What's that? Now you can have access to the internet. Alrighty. Okay, so that won't take long to download there. plug in my SSD. And put down some custom desktop icons. So no true image. Is our graphics card driver. No. Yeah, that can go. Oh, right when it's installing the network driver. We'll get the latest BIOS. Excellent. There it is. It's so weird. Why did it not copy that first time? That to me earlier. Alright, we're a little bit unstable here, which you'll know if you watch these builds from time to time. It happens sometimes. Yeah, I've seen enough. Alrighty, no crucial drive, benchmarks, PLC. Okay, I think I got everything there. Oh, Epic Games. Okay, let's set up MSI Afterburner and Reaver Tuner. So we'll set up our fans. Oh. And we'll set up our on-screen display, our overlay. So that's all the stats we want to see, and then we just set our controls. So Control F10 is to turn it on and off. Okay. Alright, let's set this to Sydney time. Alrighty, they're all up to date. That's Windows all done. So now we just wait for MSI. Double check I've got everything. No, that is everything. Excellent. So Msi Dragon Center here is sort of the software that comes with your motherboard. It would be on the CD. It has all the drivers and RGB controls and all that good stuff. And we didn't have any other drives to set up or anything here. Okay. Alrighty, so once this is done, it's going to restart itself. Sweet as. So once it restarts, do the BIOS update, and then we'll do a stress test on it. And then I'll get it packed up and ready for shipping tomorrow. While we do that, we'll turn off these annoying apps start up automatically, so that's okay. You can choose if you want to use OneDrive or not. Realtek HD audio is fine, Windows security is fine, Intel driver update's fine. Okay, so we can restart now. missed it. That's alright. Let this Windows update do its thing. Then we'll restart it, flash new BIOS. It should be pretty much ready to go. Security updates installed. There's usually one or two. No, we're all good. Sweet, let's do a BIOS update. Go to M flash mode. There's no point in doing that now anyway, because I'm going to flash a new BIOS. Enter flash mode. And so I double checked. That's what we want. Oh, it's already got the current BIOS. Okay. Well, that makes the job nice and easy, doesn't it? All done. Nope. Let's just make sure our fans are set up correctly. Go. So we should be all good to go now. So there's our i7 10700KF, 8 cores, 16 threads, our memory running at 3200 megahertz, and our graphics card, our RTX 3060 Ti. So let's start with this one. We run Heaven. This is just the out-of-the-box settings here. And as I said, this is a 10700KF with an RTX 3060 Ti. Alrighty, how we going? Oh yeah, smashing through it. Yeah, seriously made a good decision going the 3060 Ti over the 3060. It really is a big step up. Because the 3060 is called the GA106. That's the GPU, like the little chip on the card. Whereas the 3060 Ti is a totally different chip. It's called a GA104. It's the same one that the 3070 and 3070 Ti has. So it's more like the 3060 Ti is closer to a 3070 or a 3070 Ti than it is to a 3060. Alrighty. So I'll run another one now, because obviously these are not actual games. So we run that one on the standard settings for Heaven. This one I'm going to turn it up to maximum. But yeah, you'll be able to play around with all of your games. There's a million settings you can change. You fine tune the frame rate that it's running at. But at least with the 3060 Ti, you can pretty much run every game on maximum settings. You'll have fine time. Alrighty, so that was Heaven there on max. And the final benchmark that we run here is our 4K one. This is definitely what you'd call a 4K gaming graphics card. Yeah, absolutely, man. You'll be able to stream with this. No worries at all. As you can see here, you get a nice smooth 4K experience there. Alrighty. So we've been tracking those temperatures there. Haven't seen any cause for concern. We did tune our graphics card fans. Alrighty. So we are at the end of the night. Alright, so I'm going to set this up. So this is the stress test that I do on all my PCs. It's a 90-minute run here in Cinebench, which stresses the CPU. And while we do that, we also stress the graphics card. And we've got the case all put on and tightened up. So now we just let it run. Alrighty, so now's the time of the night where if you have any other final questions for me, speak now. And yeah, because I'm gonna sign off pretty soon and get myself a bowl of ice cream. Mrs. is sitting down there with a tub of ice cream right now, and it's looking pretty good. So I'll just wait a couple of minutes. If anyone's got any final comments for me. Oh, what's going on YouTube? I can't see that quite right. Let me just zoom in. Luca asks me, are you just clearing room in someone else's computer at the moment? What specs would you suggest in a circumstance you want to make a new computer so you can run Blender at its best potential and stream any level of content on Twitch? So Luca, I'd recommend sending me a message on Facebook if you want to discuss all that. It's probably going to be easier than this forum. So that would be my suggestion. What have we got here? Andre's pretty happy. Yeah, man. No, you're gonna love this rig. It's you spent money in the right areas for the budget that you had. Yeah, this is definitely an improvement. Like the 3060 is fine, but yeah, the 3070 is a decent step up from that. So just think about it. You're talking about streaming and stuff. You've gone that extra step up, so now you'll be able to stream better than you would have been gaming just gaming on the old rig. So you're already ahead. No, I think that's it for tonight. So how's that going? About 2.5 hours? That's about right. No worries. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.